Hi everyone, I'm going to take a look at these glitters by Just For You online. This is from the Ignition set, and there is white opal, there is purple opal, and then the other one is their floating silver. Now, rather than bore you all by watching me paint it into the moulds, what I've done is I've already painted it in. So I've just taken a brush and I've burnished the powders into each mould. So that's the black opal, this is the white opal, which is my little fat dragon, and this is the silver floating powder. Now, this is just one way of using these. The floating one actually is meant to do like a marbling effect on the surface, I believe. I've seen that used like that and it looks wonderful. And these two, the opal flakes, you can use them to make fake opals, I presume, by mixing it in with your resin. So, you know, I'm going to have a play and try all these different things. There's a few others in the set, they're all gorgeous, but these three I particularly wanted to try. I like this to just see what they're like on a bigger surface, just painted straight on. So I'm going to share that with you today. The resin I'm busily mixing up here is the Epoxy Resin from Just For You online. I thought, well, obviously it's the resin I'm using at the moment anyway, but as the glitters are from them and the powder, then we may as well stick with the brand, do the whole lot. Now the moulds I'll put you links for as well down in the description below, as well as the link for Just For You online, so you can have a look at their products. If you're looking for these particular glitters, they're part of this Ignition set, so that's how you'll find them. Right then, let's get some more mixing done and I'll be right back with you. Okay, I'm back, and I usually use the Vuba colours, their Vista range, but as we're using all the Just For You online range at the moment, I'm going to try their black pigment dye. You'll probably see I have used it before in a couple of other videos, but I thought we'd give it a try in this, see what it's like on a bigger volume. First thing I notice is it sits on the surface almost like it's water-based, but it clearly isn't because it mixes in really well. Anyway, there we go. Looks heavily pigmented, as I have said in previous videos. Obviously this is quite a volume. There's 100 millilitres here. These moulds are quite chunky, so I'm going to have to mix some more up. But I'm thinking I probably need a little bit more. There we go. Give it a good little squirt. Now, as you know, whenever you're using powders painted onto your moulds, you get different effect depending on what colour you put behind them. 9 times out of 10 I'll just go straight in with the black, because black always makes those colours pop. So I'm going to do all of these with black. Now what I'm going to do, just because I know what this frog mould's like, I'm going to see if I can get up into his chin a bit. There we go. And then drop it down. And yeah, each of these moulds is going to take well over the 100 millilitres, isn't it? So I'll get them all poured and then I'll come back to you and we can kind of watch what the powders are doing on the surface. So I'm back, and as you can see they're all filled up now. The only thing I know is these little froggies do get bubbles trapped under their chin. So I'm just going to do that a little bit just to release any that might be in there. And it looks like I may have slightly overfilled the little dragon. So I'm going to get a little spoon and take a little bit out. Is that better? A bit more. There, I think that should be okay. I mean, if it overspills slightly, you can trim it off afterwards, obviously. But it's easier if it's right in the first place, isn't it? Now I've got a little pot of black here with a little bit of sparkle in it. Don't want it to go to waste, so I'm going to chuck it into a jewellery mould, because sometimes you just want little black pieces or whatever to play with. And you don't want to waste, do you? So I'm just going to pop those in there. So there we are. Right, as you can see, the bubbles are all dancing up onto the surface here. I'm going to give them a spray with some alcohol. That just helps to dissipate the bubbles, it breaks the surface tension, and you can probably see the surplus sparkle is already starting to come up to the surface. Anyway, I'll see you for the demould and we'll see what we've got. I'm doing this in natural light rather than have my little craft lamp turned on, because I want to be able to show you what they look like in natural light. I hope that comes over on camera. This is how I tend to demould these little frogs. I'll show you a bit slower on the next one. I found a little method, a little route round them that makes them easier without breaking the toes off. Oh, look at this, I can see him already. There we go. Oh, look at that. That's incredible. So that was the black opal flakes. Let's see, I've got a little bit of trimming to do here. It's coming away easily. Sort that out later. Yeah, this is my frog method. There's a bit here. I don't know if it's intended for this or whether it's just because it was a bit of supporting rubber for the shape. I don't know. But there's a bit by his knees, and I'll push that out first, which goes quite easily. Then the rest of the mould just starts to come away dead simple, like so. You can see where bits of the floating pigment, no, what is it, powder, floating metallic stuff, that's floated. Which wasn't what I was doing this particular test for, but it's just interesting to see a bit of it's done it. We'll do it properly soon. Try proper floating technique. So yeah, that's what I do. I do the knees at the back, and then the bum, and I loosen around his little toesies, and then I go doink. Oh, the metallic's nice. Oh, isn't that's extra? I don't know if the camera's picking up how shiny and metallic that is actually. I don't know if it's doing it justice. I'm looking at the camera and I'm not sure. That is very metallic. That's lovely. Beautiful frog. Right, now the little dragon. Did have a bit of a sneaky peek at him last night. I'd pulled the side down a little bit and had a look. And then realised it was way off cured, so I've got to leave it for a bit, but it's looking really good. Now this is the white opal flakes. And remember, they just look like, well, white in the pot with a bit of this shimmer to them. Now this little guy, you have to be careful around his tail because it's got spikes on it. The rest of it comes away pretty easily. I just hope it's got into all the detail on his head okay. Oh, the spikes are... Oh, that's the first time I've got all of the spikes completely intact. I always say, look at that shine. Look at that. Again, I've got a little bit of trimming to do between his toes, but I'm going to leave this a few more hours just to make sure it's, you know, 100% solidified. There's just a little bit of bend still in his toes, only a tiny bit. But there we are. So what can I say? Ignition glitters and metallic floating powder. Huge thumbs up. At some point I'll use this for what it's supposed to be used for, but it was just lovely to see what it would do if you used it as a paint onto the mould. You can see it's starting to do its floating thing there, look, a little bit of surplus I had. Whereas these, yeah, the surplus glitter has come up to the surface and it looks pretty. But you can see it's different to how it's behaved there, to where it's floated. Has this one got a bit more? Yeah, this one's got a bit more. So it has gone across the surface. But look, you can see that floating effect starting to happen, even though that wasn't what I was trying to do, particularly with this one. So there we go. Our ignition glitters and our floating powder, not being used to float. What do you think, folks? I think they're awesome. Now let me bring the camera down and have a proper closer look down here. I think that's pretty impressive. This really changes colour. Look at the blue going to green. From that angle it's green, angle it's blue. And this one, pink, through blue, through green. Camera's not picking up the green as much as my eyes are. Maybe from that angle. And then that beautiful solid silver. There we are. Okay folks, if you've liked this video or got something from it, and I really hope you have, give it a thumbs up for me please, if you would, because that helps me to know where I'm on track. And also, of course, you know where the subscribe button and the notifications are. They're down below here, should you wish to be kept informed on my videos. Thanks everyone, I'll see you for the next one. Bye.